Safety first. Let's use some power tools today. Really not power tools though, the sander. I recently did a poll on my channel and asked you guys what you wanted to see for videos, and thrift flips was the winner. So today we're going to be doing a bunch of projects with some thrift flips that I've had in my garage for a while and really wanted to make, and so let's go get started. So our first project is going to bring us to Ace Hardware. We had to get a few things to do this project. So I'm going to go ahead, as you can see, I have some plants in my cart, and we're going to go ahead and get a few other supplies. So I head down here to the potting soil area, and I go ahead and pick out a potting soil that's going to be good for just regular planting. And then we're going to go ahead and grab some spray paint. Now they had quite a selection of spray paint here. It was crazy. I can't believe how many colors there were. So if you're looking for some unique colors, definitely head on over to Ace Hardware. I thought this was a pretty trendy color and I really liked the minty green, so I decided to go with that, which is not one of my normal kind of colors that I would choose. I need a couple carabiners here for my project. They had so many to choose from. I just want one that has like a normal push lock. They had a few that had some twisty locks as well. I'm going to grab these kind of bigger ones, and then I need a piece of chain. Now I went through all the chains trying to decide which one I thought was going to work best for this project. They go ahead and cut it for you there, so it's pretty good. You can get however much of a length that you want. I went with 2 feet, and now we're ready to start our project. So I picked up this colander. It's kind of plastic-ish. I don't think it's real metal, but I got it at a garage sale for $1. I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple coats of our mint green spray paint. It's a really cool color. It has like some hues of white as well. So once I have that all spray painted and dried, we're going to add our carabiners here to the sides of our planter. Now I don't want them to kind of move around because this is going to be hanging, so I kind of get them where I want, and then I'm going to take this floral wire and I'm going to wrap it around. Now it is a different color green than our colander, so it does show a little bit, but once the project gets out there, you're going to see that it's really not noticeable. But this is an optional step. If you don't want to secure them on there, you don't have to, or you can use any kind of wire here. So I'm back at Ace Hardware because my carabiner was too big for the chain that I bought, so I had to come back here. I definitely recommend measuring the chain before you buy it and cut it, that it measures the carabiner that you have, that you're able to open, this part and that your chain can fit in there. So I'm here getting more chain, and then we're back to finishing this project. So here we are with our carabiners all tightly secured onto our colander, and we're going to add the chain. This fits really nicely in my carabiner, so just remember to check that before you leave the store. So once I get that all arranged, now I'm ready to assemble my planter. So here we are outside. I'm going to use this bag. It's really lightweight. When I did some research on how to plant in one of these, someone suggested cheesecloth. I didn't have any, but this is a really thin bag and I figured it would do the trick. So I'm going to lay that down in the bottom. We're going to take our potting mix that we picked up at Ace, and we're going to lay that about 2/3 of the way into our colander. Once I get that all in there and it's placed nicely, I'm going to take my plants. I also got these at Ace Hardware. Mine is a pretty small store, so they didn't have a huge greenhouse, but I actually am happy I got these plants. They kind of hang over and they look really cute in this planter. So once I get them all kind of mushed up a little bit and placed in the place that I want them to go in the colander, I'm going to go ahead and take my potting soil again and go around the entire plant and all around the sides, and then that is it, you guys. I'm going to hang mine on a shepherd's hook out in my front yard, and here it is styled for you guys. Let me know what you think about this one. I've been wanting to make this for a long time and it did not disappoint. So for this project, we're going to be using an old potty chair. I got this at Salvation Army, and I got it a couple years ago. Our Salvation Army thrift store closed down, which was kind of sad because I really liked shopping at that one. But we're going to go ahead and give it a good wipe down with a wet cloth. This was in my garage for quite a while, even moved with me, so it needed a good cleaning. It has some places that need to be reinforced with some wood glue. This bottom piece down here that I'm kind of moving around, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that piece. Nothing heavy is going to go on here, so it's not going to really need that reinforcement piece. Once I get it all wiped down, we're going to give it a good sanding. I wanted to get a lot of this paint off because it's a really bright yellow color. Plus there was some stickers on here, and I tried to get as much of that off as I could. This was a really good finish on this chair because it didn't come off as much as I would have hoped, but it did lighten it up a little bit. Once I go over the whole chair with my sander, then I'm ready to give it some paint. So we're going to use this mint paint again. I really loved this color. It's pretty modern looking, and I love how this turns out in the end. But in true New Mexico form, as I am spray painting my stuff outside of my spray paint tent, it starts to have a storm roll in, and then we got some pretty heavy rain. So I had to move my projects inside to let them dry. And as I was moving them in, I got a ton of spray paint on my hand. So just a hack for you guys, if that ever happens to you and you get a ton of spray paint on your hand, or just even a little bit, you can use fingernail polish remover to get that off. Use a pad, rub it on. It takes a little bit of elbow grease, but it does come off. So we're headed into Hobby Lobby here to get another planter for our potty chair, if you hadn't figured that out yet. So as you can see, the cart totally gets stuck on me. That happens like every time I go there. But we're headed over to the potting area. So this week, the pots are half off. So if you are wanting to, run over there now to pick up some terracotta pots. I love, love, love to use terracotta pots. I think they add kind of a high-end feel to any kind of project. But we're going to pick this kind of medium-sized one, and then we're going to head on back home. So I have this wallpaper piece that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I thought it really accented the color nicely to this mint color. So I cut out a couple pieces. I'm not going to cover the entire chair, just kind of some accent pieces in the front, but we're going to go down the front like leg piece here. We're going to do both front pieces of the leg. We're also going to do the arm pieces, and then there are two pieces up at the top that are lengthwise like this one. And we're going to go ahead and add some of our wallpaper to that as well. Now this is peel and stick. I don't know if you guys have ever used this on like an actual wall. Anytime I've used this like peel and stick wallpaper for crafts, it doesn't feel like it adheres very well to the project. So I was just curious if anyone's ever used it as wallpaper and if it stuck to the wall really well. I've had really bad luck with like wall decals and having them stick and fall off. So I'm going to use my sander, and I'm going to go ahead and sand the edges that are not flush. Now my sander took off some of the like picture part of our wallpaper, which was okay because it kind of blends into the paint, and I liked how that ended up turning out. So I took off as much as I could, and then the rest I just folded over and stuck to the chair, which made it look like it was uniform in the chair, if that makes sense. But I really like how this technique turned out. So once I get all the pieces sanded, we're ready to head outside and assemble our potty chair planter. I was really not sure how this was going to turn out, but the moment I saw this in the store, I thought, okay, this is totally what I'm going to use this for. Let me know if when you saw it, you thought it was going to be a planter. But this medium-sized terracotta pot fits really nicely into the potty chair part, and we're going to go ahead and plant an actual plant in here. So using our potting soil again, we're going to go ahead and fill up our pot about a half of the way in there. This does have a hole in the bottom, so it is able to drain. And in case you were wondering, I did cover my potty chair with a clear coat because we're going to have some water here. I'm going to add my plant in here, kind of break it up a little bit, add some more potting soil, and then we're ready for the final reveal. I really love how this turned out, and it looks super cute on my porch. I have a pretty small porch area, and so I really loved how this gave some fun accent colors, but not too much space. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Could you come a little closer? I want you by my side, and I'll try the best I So for this project, we're going to start with this plank piece. I think you can get these at Hobby Lobby. This was gifted to me, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think I have seen them there. So I should have sanded this before I started with the Antique Waverly wax. This was very like coarse wood and really needed a good sanding, but I had already started, so I just decided not to do the Antique Waverly wax. I took it outside and gave it a good coat of white spray paint. Once I had that all spray painted, the parts that I'm going to add to this are not white, they're more of a cream color. So I'm going to go ahead and add my Cashew Waverly chalk paint on top of it. I don't give it one like full coverage. I liked how the white kind of peeked through. That gives it more of a farmhousey feel, even though this is more of a French country project, but it was more like French country farmhouse, I guess. So we're going to go ahead and we're just pretty much dry brushing here onto the white paint. Now my spray paint was a little tacky, so it took a while for this project to dry. I'm such an impatient crafter sometimes, so spray paint is not always my best friend. But I picked up these little baskets at a garage sale. I got all 3 of them for $1, which was a really good deal. But someone had spray painted these, I think, at an earlier date, and the bottoms did not get spray painted. And because of the way I'm going to assemble this, I needed them to have coverage on the bottom. So I decided to take my Cashew Waverly chalk paint. It's not quite the same color, but they are pretty close, and I'm just going to paint the bottom. Once it dries, you can't really tell, and it's not going to be totally noticeable because you're not going to be looking at the bottom necessarily of the project, so I thought that this was a good fix. I also went ahead and painted inside about a third of the way down, just in case like I didn't get full coverage from the florals I decided to put in here. And that way, it wasn't totally noticeable that it's like a dark tin color on the inside. So I go ahead and I do that for all 3 of these cute little baskets. So we're ready to assemble the baskets onto our board, and I'm going to go ahead and go down about a third of the way on this piece. That way at the top of our piece, we can make sure that the basket handle is aligned with the very top of our board. So we're going to hot glue these on first, and then I'm going to take these little nails that came from a nail kit from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add them in the middle of our hanging piece. I'm going to go ahead and use my hammer and just nail them in. That way it looks like our basket is hanging on the board and not just floating in midair. I'm going to take some lavender that I had on hand. I get mine at Walmart. I've been using the same lavender for 3 years. I just kind of recycle it. Here's the project all assembled together. Let me know what you think about this one. I love the French country feel. Hold you now. I wanna lay in your arms. Come let me love you now. Yeah, you're the one that I want. I wanna stay here. I wanna stay here with you. I wanna stay here. Now this project was a ladder that had an extra piece up at the top with a heart on it. I went ahead and removed that wood piece with the heart. I thought I had footage of that, but I couldn't find it. So once I had that all removed, I did go ahead and give this ladder a full sanding, and then we're going to use our Antique Waverly wax. I'm going to go over the whole thing with the Antique Waverly wax, and then I'm going to add some black paint here. So I'm going to water down the black paint, and I'm using it as a stain. I want to make my wood look darker because the piece that we're going to attach this to is a darker, more barn wood type look, and so I want this to match a little bit better. All I'm going to do is rub it on there, take my paper towel and rub it off. You can continue to do this to get the desired darkness that you want. And it's really nice because you get these like hints of black, but they are not like super black, so they just look like darker wood. I love to use watered down paint for stains. I think it's a great way. You get a ton of colors because you can use any color. So I picked up this woodpile stack of wood at Hobby Lobby. It's $12.99 regularly, but it does go on sale and you can get it for either 40 to 50% off. So we're going to take our ladder and we're just going to use some hot glue and we're going to glue it into the middle of this board. So we're going to make a planter out of this. I guess that was the theme I was going with today was planters, but we're going to go ahead and attach this. Now I think this ends up looking like a pretty high-end table sitter planter. You guys will have to let me know what you think but I really loved how this turned out. So once I get the ladder glued on, we're going to take some terracotta pots, also from Hobby Lobby, and we're going to sit them into the ladder pieces. I thought this was a really fun upcycle because sometimes those ladders are pretty outdated. They're from the 90s. People sat little trinkets on it. You don't see them much anymore, but I thought this was a fun upcycle for that. I'm going to go ahead and use more lavender because it's one of my favorites, and we're just going to add it here to the pot, and then that is it for this. I just added the desired amount till I thought that it looked good. You can add more or less, or real plants or other plants. Succulents would look cute in this too. Let me know what you guys think about this one. So sometimes an upcycle only needs some paint, so that's what we're going to do to this cute little lantern. We're going to go out and give it one coat of Rust-Oleum white spray paint. While that's drying, we're going to make a cute shabby bow here. I haven't used this Dollar Tree ribbon in a hot minute, but I thought it went really cute with this Pioneer Women dupe ribbon. So we're going to go ahead and do two sections here. We're using some teal, some of the flower, and the lace and burlap ribbon. We're going to cinch it together, and we're going to use some twine. I go ahead and tie the twine here in the middle. I want it to have a really good secure hold, and this was pretty thick ribbon. If you watch my channel, you know that I like to use actual ribbon to tie off the middle of bows. The reason I use twine here, like I said, is because it's a lot of ribbon in this bow. But we are going to go ahead and take a piece of the teal ribbon, and we're going to wrap it around where our twine pieces, and we're going to tie it like I normally do just to give it some more hold. We're going to go ahead and dovetail all the ends of the ribbon. You could do this beforehand if you wanted. Sometimes when I make these bows, I can't decide if I want dovetails or not. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So it's a little bit of a process to go ahead and go back and cut out all of the dovetails, but that's all right. My paint needed some time to dry. So I went ahead and had a little piece of twine in the back of our ribbon still to go through these holes that were up at the top of this. I think a handle probably was here at one time, but all we're going to do is tie this onto the top of our lantern, and that is it for this project. I love how it looks. It definitely gives me Pioneer Woman vibes. Let me know what you guys think about this one. I just wanna be with you. How can you make me feel this way? Don't let me down, down, down. It could be you and I want you now, 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 now. This video was so fun to make, and if you were one of the ones to vote and pick thrift flips, thank you so much for challenging me to go into my garage and get these projects out. If you want to keep on crafting with me, check out this video next. And as always, wherever you are in your journey is a perfect place to start. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends!